What if the very things you've kept around for years, the objects and habits that feel as familiar as your own reflection, are quietly stealing your comfort and joy? After the age of 70, most of us have accumulated items in our homes and patterns in our lives that seem harmless, even comforting, simply because they have been with us for so long. They are the silent witnesses to our journey. But as we grow older, the needs of our bodies, our safety, and our peace of mind change in profound ways we can't afford to ignore. And the stark truth is, holding on to certain things can slowly, almost imperceptibly, chip away at your well-being without you even noticing it. These seemingly innocent remnants of the past can put your physical safety at risk, drain your precious energy, or keep your mind anchored in places it no longer needs to be. This isn't a call to embrace a stark, minimalist existence, to throw away every cherished photograph or memory-laden trinket. Far from it. This is about becoming intentional, about acting as the deliberate curator of your own life, and choosing with wisdom what you allow to stay in your space, in your daily routine, and in your heart. When you make these conscious changes, you create room, glorious, expansive room, for comfort, for safety, and for a kind of joy that feels lighter, freer, and more authentic to who you are today. The goal is simple yet transformative: to remove what drags you down so you can make more space for what lifts you up. Today, we are going to explore 5 specific things that many people over 70 still keep, often without ever realizing the subtle harm they cause. And by the time we reach the last one, I believe you'll be genuinely surprised by how deeply it may have been affecting you without you even being aware of it. So stay with me until the very end, because the final point we discuss could fundamentally change the way you look at your daily life from this moment on. The first area we must address is something that often hides in plain sight, a paradox of safety that can become a source of danger: broken or unused mobility devices. It's a strange irony that the very tools we come to rely on to keep us safe can become the hidden reason we're putting ourselves in peril. After 70, many of us begin to use canes, walkers, grab bars, or even simple handrails to support our balance and movement. These devices are meant to be our allies, our steadfast partners in navigating the world with confidence. But what happens when those once sturdy allies wear out, begin to wobble, or no longer fit our evolving needs? The answer, unfortunately, is often quiet but costly. Relying on broken or outdated mobility aids can insidiously increase your risk of injury, while simultaneously decreasing your confidence with every single step. You might tell yourself, it's just a little loose, or it still works fine for getting around the house. But a cane with a worn-down rubber tip that has lost its grip, a walker with one slightly uneven leg that causes a subtle destabilizing tilt, or a grab bar in the shower that shifts a fraction of an inch when you lean on it, these are not minor inconveniences. They are accidents waiting to happen. They can turn a simple, routine movement, like standing up from a chair or stepping over a threshold, into a serious, life-altering accident. And sometimes, the most dangerous damage isn't even visible. A friend of mine, Alan, an 81-year-old retired engineer from Chicago, had a folding walker that he'd used for years. It squeaked a little, and the frame had loosened with time, but he insisted it was still trusty. "It's got character," he would chuckle to his daughter whenever she suggested a new one. One crisp autumn morning, while walking down his driveway to get the mail, a familiar daily ritual, the walker's internal locking mechanism, corroded from years of use, suddenly gave way. The frame collapsed without warning. He fell hard, the impact cracking his hip. all because a hidden weakness had finally failed. After his recovery, a long and arduous process, he told me something that has stayed with me ever since. He said with a new clarity in his eyes, "I kept that walker out of habit, maybe a little bit of stubborn pride, but I should have been looking at what I actually needed for my safety today, not what I was simply used to." That sentiment struck me deeply. How many things do we all hold on to simply because they've been with us for a while, even if they're no longer truly helping us, or worse, are actively hindering us? If you found that story about Alan insightful and it's made you think about the tools you rely on every day, let me know by commenting with the number 1 below. It helps to know these stories are connecting with you. There's also the other side of this coin, the mobility devices we bought with the best intentions but never actually used. Think of the grab bar still in its packaging in the garage, the shower chair someone bought for you that you tried once and then pushed into a corner of the spare bedroom. If it's not actively helping you stay safer today, it's just taking up physical and mental space. Even worse, it can give you a false sense of preparedness. Safety tools are not talismans. Their power doesn't come from mere ownership. They only work when they are properly installed, regularly checked, and actually used as part of your daily life. Inspecting your mobility aids doesn't require a professional, just a few moments of honest attention. Take a few minutes this week to look at everything you use for stability. Are the rubber grips on your cane or walker still firm and tacky, or have they become smooth and hardened? Do any parts feel wobbly, loose, or worn? Is the item still the right size and height for your body today, not 5 years ago when you first got it? Our posture and needs can change. If the answer to any of these questions raises even a little sliver of doubt, it is absolutely worth replacing or adjusting the device. If you have those unused devices still in the box, ask yourself the hard question, why? Do you need help from a family member or a handyman to set it up? Is there an emotional barrier, a reluctance to admit you need it that you haven't addressed? After 70, your freedom and independence depend more and more on how safely you can move through your own home and community. And safe movement depends entirely on the tools you trust. Replacing that one shaky cane or finally installing that grab bar in the bathroom isn't just about preventing a fall. It's a powerful act of self-care. It's about preserving your independence, securing your peace of mind, and maintaining the ability to keep doing the things you love without the shadow of fear holding you back. Now let's move from the tools that support our bodies to the substances we put inside them. It's remarkably easy to overlook the silent gathering of bottles that line the shelves of your bathroom cabinet or the back of a kitchen drawer. Many of us have them, half-finished bottles of pain relievers, leftover antibiotics from an infection years ago, vitamins we started taking and then forgot to finish, or prescriptions for conditions we no longer have. They just sit there quietly, gathering dust, becoming a forgotten archive of past ailments. But after the age of 70, keeping expired or unused medications around is more than just clutter. It's a dangerous and ticking invitation to trouble. Over time, medications lose their potency. This means that an old painkiller you reach for in a moment of desperate need may not provide the relief you expect, potentially prolonging your suffering. Worse yet, some medications can break down chemically into different compounds, which can cause harmful or unexpected side effects. The danger isn't just theoretical, it's a tangible risk that lives in your home. And the peril extends beyond just you. Grandchildren, with their natural curiosity, might visit your home and mistake colorful pills for candy, a scenario with potentially tragic consequences. A spouse, in a moment of haste, could accidentally take the wrong bottle if the labels have faded or the caps have been switched between similar-looking containers. Even you, in a moment of fatigue or distraction in the middle of the night, might reach for the wrong thing, especially if you're juggling several different prescriptions at once. In the wrong situation, a single mix-up can be enough to send you to the emergency room. And yet, so many seniors keep a stockpile of outdated pills just in case, thinking they might save a few dollars or a trip to the pharmacy. In reality, what they are saving is a hazard, not a help. I remember my neighbor, Dorothy, an 82-year-old grandmother in Florida who was fiercely independent. She kept a full shelf of old prescriptions in her pantry, a habit from a lifetime of being frugal. One evening, when her arthritis flared up with a vengeance, she reached for what she thought was her current pain medication. The light in the pantry was dim, the label on the bottle was faded, and the pill looked similar enough. But it was actually a powerful blood pressure medication she had been told to stop taking years before. She felt dizzy and disoriented within an hour, and her son had to rush her to an urgent care clinic. Thankfully, she recovered quickly, but it was a terrifyingly close call that could have been entirely avoided. The incident shook her, making her realize that her just-in-case shelf was actually a game of Russian roulette. The solution is simple, but requires a powerful commitment to your own safety. Make it a habit to go through your medications at least twice a year, perhaps when you change the clocks for daylight saving time. Go through every single bottle, box, and blister pack. Check the expiration dates meticulously and set aside anything that is outdated or no longer prescribed to you. Many local pharmacies and police stations offer safe medication disposal programs, ensuring these drugs don't end up in the water supply or the wrong hands. Clearing out old medications is a profound act of responsibility that not only protects your health, but also keeps your home safer for everyone who walks through your door. It is a small step that can prevent life-changing mistakes. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please take a moment to comment with the number 2 below to let me know you're here with me. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I truly recommend you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward to our next point. From the medicine cabinet, let's travel down to the floor, to something we put on every single day without a second thought. Many people, of all ages, fail to realize just how profoundly their shoes affect their comfort, mobility, and overall safety. And this becomes exponentially more critical after 70. We often get deeply attached to a favorite pair of shoes. They're broken in perfectly, they feel familiar, and putting them on is like greeting an old friend. But just like the tires on a car, shoes wear down gradually, and the change is often so slow that we hardly notice it until a problem arises. As shoes age, the soles lose their grip, the vital cushioning flattens and compresses, and the structural support weakens. That comfortable pair of sneakers you've worn for years on your daily walks might now be silently contributing to your foot pain, knee strain, or even subtle balance issues that could lead to a devastating fall. Your feet carry the entire weight of your body, and after decades of faithful service, they need and deserve all the help they can get. Shoes that no longer provide proper arch support or shock absorption force your muscles and joints all the way up your body, in your ankles, knees, hips, and back, to work harder to compensate. This can worsen arthritis, cause chronic fatigue, and turn a pleasant walk into a painful chore. Think about the soles. Smooth, worn-out soles dramatically increase your risk of slipping, especially on wet floors in the grocery store, on slick autumn leaves covering the sidewalk, or even on a small spill in your own kitchen. And if you've noticed your lower back hurting more, or your legs feeling heavy and achy by the end of the day, your trusted old shoes might be a bigger part of the problem than you think. They can become silent saboteurs of your well-being. I recall a gentleman named Harold, a 79-year-old from a small town in Ohio who used to be a regular at our local community center. He walked with a slight but noticeable limp, and he'd always wave off any concerns with a smile, saying, "It's just old age catching up with me." But when a visiting nurse gently suggested he might consider changing his shoes, he was skeptical. The worn leather loafers he wore every single day were over 10 years old, and he insisted, "They're the most comfortable shoes I've ever owned." Eventually, after some good-natured pestering from his wife, he replaced them with a sturdy, supportive pair of walking shoes. A few weeks later, he admitted with a look of genuine surprise that his knees ached far less and he felt remarkably steadier walking up the steep steps to his church. Sometimes it's not our bodies that are failing us, it's our gear. Have you ever had a similar experience where changing a piece of equipment, big or small, made a huge difference in your daily comfort? Share your story in the comments below. It could help someone else realize they need to make a change. Replacing worn-out shoes isn't about the vanity of buying something new. It's a critical investment in protecting your independence. Good, well-fitting footwear helps maintain proper posture, keeps your gait steady and balanced, and significantly reduces the daily strain on your joints and muscles. Make it a point to inspect your most frequently worn shoes every few months. Look for thinning soles, especially uneven wear patterns, which can indicate a problem with your gait. Check for crushed-down heels or stitching that has started to loosen. When in doubt, it is always a wise decision to invest in a fresh, supportive pair suited for your primary activities, whether that's walking, gardening, or simply moving about your home. Your feet will thank you, your balance will improve, and you will move through life with more confidence and far less discomfort. Now we pivot from the physical objects in our lives to something less tangible, but infinitely more powerful in its ability to affect our happiness, our relationships. As we get older, we naturally and correctly place a higher value on companionship. But we must be discerning, because not all friendships bring warmth or joy. Some relationships, over time, can slowly become a source of profound stress, frustration, or emotional drain without us ever making a conscious decision to let it happen. It could be an old friend who, perhaps unintentionally, constantly complains, criticizes, or brings up painful reminders of your past mistakes. It might be someone who only seems to call when they need a favor, never offering support or a listening ear in return. These types of connections, which we might call negative friendships, can chip away at your peace of mind and, paradoxically, leave you feeling more lonely, not less. After 70, your time and your emotional energy become your most precious, non-renewable resources. Spending hours with people who consistently make you feel tense, judged, or unappreciated robs you of the opportunity to invest that precious energy in relationships that truly uplift and nourish your soul. The tricky part, of course, is that many of these negative friendships are rooted in years, sometimes decades of shared history. You may feel an immense sense of guilt about the idea of stepping back because, as we say, we go way back, or they've simply been part of the fabric of your life for as long as you can remember. But holding on to a toxic connection just because it's familiar is like keeping spoiled food in the refrigerator. You know it's not good for you, yet you hesitate to throw it out. But you are not helping yourself by letting it stay there and take up space. I think of Margaret, a vibrant 82-year-old from Pasadena who used to spend her Tuesday afternoons with a small group of women she'd known since her 20s. Over time, she began to notice a pattern. She always came home from those gatherings feeling emotionally exhausted, not happy. The conversations had devolved into a predictable cycle of gossip, arguments over petty issues, and subtle put-downs disguised as jokes. When she quietly started seeing them less, making excuses to miss a few meetings, and instead joined a local gardening club, she realized how much lighter and more joyful she felt. She began laughing more, meeting new people who shared her passion for plants, and rediscovering hobbies she had long forgotten she enjoyed. This isn't about cutting people out of your life harshly or holding on to grudges. It is a gentle but firm process of recognizing when a relationship no longer brings value or joy to your life. You deserve to be surrounded by people who respect you, who support your growth, who celebrate your joys, and who bring genuine warmth to your days. That might mean letting certain friendships fade naturally by being less available. It might mean spending less time with certain individuals, or consciously choosing to engage in more positive, uplifting activities that attract like-minded people. By intentionally clearing space in your social circle, you make room for deeper, healthier connections that can truly enrich your later years instead of draining them. If this idea of curating your social circle for more peace and joy resonates with you, please show your support by commenting with the number 4 below. And as always, if you're enjoying this discussion, please hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you never miss our future videos. Your support is what makes this community possible. Finally, we arrive at the 5th and perhaps most challenging thing to let go of, because it doesn't live in your closet or your medicine cabinet, it lives inside your mind. Holding on to regrets is like carrying a heavy, invisible sack of stones on your back every single day. It slows you down, exhausts your spirit, and keeps you from fully enjoying the beautiful moments you still have right in front of you. After 70, with a long life to look back on, many people find themselves replaying old mistakes, dwelling on missed opportunities, or agonizing over things they wish they had done differently. Maybe it was a career path you didn't take, a cross-country move you were too scared to make, a difficult conversation you never had with a loved one, or a wrong you committed that you never made right. While these thoughts can feel unavoidable, like ghosts from the past, they can also quietly poison your present by keeping your mind and heart perpetually stuck in a time that is gone forever. The inescapable truth is that no amount of thinking, worrying, or ruminating will ever rewrite history. The immense energy you spend reliving those moments is energy that could be far better used building the life you still have in front of you. Regret can also sneak into your conversations, coloring how you interact with the world today. You might catch yourself telling younger family members, "Oh, I wish I had traveled more," or "if only I had bought that house," more often than you'd like. Not only does this keep you personally anchored in a state of sadness or longing, but it can also cast a shadow over your relationships, making others feel the heavy weight of your unresolved pain. I once spoke with Frank, a 79-year-old former history teacher from Vermont, who used to talk endlessly about how he wished he had traveled more to see the historical sites he taught about. His life had been good, but this one regret was a constant, melancholic refrain. One day, his 15-year-old granddaughter, with the simple wisdom of youth, gently asked him, "Grandpa, why don't you just start traveling now?" It hit him like a thunderbolt. He had been so intensely focused on what he had missed in his past that he had completely overlooked what was still possible in his present. Within a year, he began taking small trips, weekend drives to Civil War battlefields in Pennsylvania, a train journey to Washington, D.C. He told me that those adventures gave him more pure joy than he had imagined possible. Not because they magically erased the regret, but because they reminded him, powerfully, that life still had room for new memories, new discoveries, and new joy. Throwing away regrets doesn't mean you forget the lessons they taught you. On the contrary, it means you finally honor those lessons by stopping the cycle of self-punishment and using that wisdom to make better choices today. It means you forgive yourself for the things you didn't know back then, for the courage you hadn't yet found, or for the circumstances that were beyond your control. When you free yourself from the suffocating grip of regret, you open the door to peace, to gratitude, and to a much deeper appreciation for every single sunrise you are still blessed to see. Reaching 70 and beyond brings with it a certain beautiful clarity about what really matters in life. By consciously letting go of the physical clutter that poses a risk, the unhealthy relationships that drain your spirit, the worn-out items that compromise your safety, and the heavy regrets that chain you to the past, you create space for something far more valuable: peace of mind. These things we've discussed may seem small on the surface: a wobbly cane, an old bottle of pills, a pair of worn shoes, a draining friendship, a persistent regret. but they have a cumulative, powerful way of shaping how you wake up in the morning, how you speak to others, and how much genuine joy you feel at the end of the day. When you clear them out, you are not just removing weight from your home or your schedule, you are removing weight from your heart. Life after 70 is not about racing against time, but about savoring it. Every day you are given is another precious chance to live in a way that makes you feel proud, calm, and deeply connected to the present moment. When you stop holding on to what drags you down, you start to notice the incredible beauty in simple things again. The warmth of the sun on your porch, the uninhibited laughter of a grandchild, the deep comfort of a favorite chair that actually supports you. You can breathe easier, think clearer, and focus your energy on what fills your spirit instead of what depletes it. And perhaps most importantly, throwing away these 5 things doesn't leave you with emptiness. It leaves you with room. Room for better health and more confident movement. Room for stronger bonds and new positive friendships. Room for new experiences that might just surprise and delight you. At this stage of life, you deserve so much more than just getting by. You deserve days that feel light, purposeful, and blissfully free from the shadows of unnecessary burdens. Thank you for joining us on this journey today. We would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you learned or were reminded of today, and how you might plan to use it in your own life. Your thoughts and stories are so important to us, so please don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please show your support with a like. And be sure to subscribe and share it with someone who might benefit from this message. Your support helps our community grow and allows us to continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.